Wednesday, July the 18th. Lake level is about 9:15 3/4. It's gone down about 4 or 5 inches since the report last week. Water temperature is still pretty hot. It's up there in the mid-80s. Putting up the upper James River the other day was 86 degrees first thing in the morning. Get up to 88, 89. But most of the lakes, 85 to 86 wherever you go. We've had quite a little bit of rain, little spurts of rain. It hasn't changed too much in the color of the water of the lake. Lakes for the most part still pretty clear. And for the past, several weeks, I've been talking about how the fishing has really been good, and it was fairly easy as far as on the drop shot and deep fish. Well, I'm finding it to be a little bit more difficult now. We're still catching quite a few fish, but I'm not getting the big groups and numbers of fish in the same spots. I'm having to move around a lot more. But you still, if you get, you'll get 2 to 4 bites in one area, and it seems like I got to move. So I'm having to move around quite a bit more. My best bite, by far for numbers is still on a drop shot, and it depends where I'm at on the lake. If I'm up in the river arms, I've been catching them on a Carolina rig, a 5-fish ultimate finesse jig, a 9/16, a football jig, and a Texas rig worm. And I've been fishing brush piles, stump fields, rock piles, drop-offs. And now up in the river arms, I'm not having to fish as deep. Seems like my bites are coming from about 12 to 20 foot up in the river arms. And they're on channel swings, secondary points, or places where there's big flats where a channel comes against the flat. And in the mornings, they're up on top of the flats. Then once the sun gets up, they seem like they get on what we call the roll-offs, where it drops down into the channel. And that's where you'll find a lot of the brush and the stumps. Now, one of my favorite worms to throw this time of year is I really like plum. It's just hard to beat. And I throw a multiple of different worms. I throw some Strike King worms. This particular one I've got tied on is a Zoom 9-inch. I like to throw a 9 or 10-inch worm and just Texas rig it, old-fashioned style with a bullet weight. Depends how deep I'm fishing. Normally I'll use between a 3/8 ounce and a 1/2 ounce weight. If I'm fishing a little bit deeper, 15 to 20, I'll throw the 1/2 ounce weight. If I'm fishing less than 15, I'll throw a 3/8 ounce weight. But a Texas rig bait comes through the brush a lot better than, like, say, a Carolina rig or a football jig. And on a Carolina rig, I've been using a 3/4 ounce weight, and a lizard and a baby brush hog seems to be working best for me. Watermelon red, a lot of times I'll dip the tail in chartreuse, and the same with the baby brush hog. Now, I've tried the big brush hog, but I seem to be getting more fish on the baby brush hog. If you're up in the Shell Knob area, just a couple weeks ago, there's Pro's Choice Tackle had their 1-year anniversary. So if you're up in that area and you need some tackle, you need to stop by and check these guys out. They just got a small store, but they've got a lot of good baits in there, stuff that you use on table rock. They've got a good selection of War Eagle spinner baits, a bunch of robo worms, just a lot of the stuff that you'll find that you'll use every day. So they're right up there in the shopping plaza at Shell Knob. It's called Pro's Choice. But another thing I've been catching some fish on out there deep, and a lot of them drop shot fish that I have been catching on the main lake points off of flat gravel, that's where I'm getting less and less bites, and I'm finding more and more fish out there over the deeper water. A lot of times I'll be setting in 60 to 80 foot, and I'm finding more fish in the treetops than I was 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I think that's what's going on, why my bite's been slowing down, or the numbers of fish been slowing down on the gravel flats. I think as the water's getting warmer, thermocline's getting a little deeper, and they haven't been generating very much water at all. It seems like these fish are just out there suspended. And a lot of times you go in these deep creeks where you got 80, 90 foot of water, and just look for submerged timber where it's coming up to about 35 foot from the surface. A lot of times you can't see the fish moving in the trees until you drop a bait down. Then you'll see the fish swim up out of the trees. But another bait that I've been using instead of just the regular drop shot worms It's I think it's called, it's a little fluke. It's a tiny, I don't know what to call it for sure. I think it's a baby fluke. But anyways, I've got it rigged up on an 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce Ned rig head. And I've also been catching some out there, the vertical fish out of the trees on a Ned rig as well. It's kind of funny, a lot of times you catch them fish out in the middle of nowhere out of them deep trees, and you look in their throat, they got crawdads. I don't know if the crawdads get in the trees as well, but them fish are feeding on crawdads out there. So a lot of times if I see that, I'll put a little Ned rig on and I'll vertical fish it just like I will a drop shot. But the fish have still been belching quite a few shad. So I've swapped to this a little bit in the past week, and when I stop getting bit on a drop shot, I can usually pick this up and catch a few more fish on it. Now, a swim bait and topwater bite, you know, about a week ago I had a pretty good little topwater bite going early in the mornings, and there's still some fish surfacing, but it seems like whenever they come up chasing, you about got to hit them on the head, you know, to get them to bite. I haven't been able to just run down a random bank or over some trees and pull a fish out of the deeper water. Seems like the only topwater bites I've had is once the fish are already up on surface chasing shad. And there's been some white bass too, 15 to 20 foot deep, that I've been catching on a 1/2 ounce white jigging spoon. And they've been from Kimberling City down to the dam area. But like them white bass normally are, they're not real consistent. They move around a lot. So a lot of times if I'm drop shotting and I see a lot of fish and I can't get them to bite, it's a good idea to pick up a spoon and try to drop that down on them. You know, you will catch an occasional white bass on a drop shot, but most of the time they want a bait that's moving. That's why that spoon works real well. So like I say, if I see a big group and see fish coming up looking at my bait, can't get them to bite, turn around, pick up a spoon, try to drop that on them. But you know, for the most part, you know, it's been a hot summer, but the fish are still biting, and like I say, I'm not catching them the numbers that I was, or the numbers of keepers. Still catching a lot of fish. My ratio between non-keepers and keepers has gone back the other way. Unless I'm up in the river arms doing the Carolina rig or the jig, most of those fish I've been catching are largemouths, and I've been catching a lot more keepers doing that than I have drop shot. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.